Hey there, avid listeners. Thanks again for tuning in to Sin's Workshop. Hope you're having a wonderful day. So, today we're going to be talking about The Ivory Key by Ashaya Rahman. I have to say thank you again to the publisher for giving me a copy of this book, not only as an ebook copy, but also as a physical copy, so that I can take pictures of it for my Instagram. I have to say I really did enjoy this novel. I thought it was really well done. I think what was key for me here was attaching myself to the characters. So the Ivory Key just follows 4 different protagonists, a group of siblings, and they have been, estranged for quite some time. You have Vera. She's the new Maharani, the queen, and her council doesn't really take her seriously. So she does tend to overlook her family in order to win the council's approval. Councils unfortunately do have a lot of power, especially with a country that is trying to avoid war and invasion. There's a lot going on. Magic is getting lost in this book, and Vera is just trying to hold it together. So it's very stressful. So you can definitely understand her character a lot. Then you have Rhea. She ran away 2 years before. She joined a group of ravens. The ravens, they're kind of like Robin Hood and his merry men. They, take from the rich and give to the poor. But everything Rhea thought she knew wasn't true. She thought she knew that her mother was keeping things from the people. It's not that she was keeping things from the people. She just didn't think there was another way, the same way that Vera does. And then you have Caleb, who was framed for the murder of his stepmother, the Maharani. And then you have Ronak, who's trying to just run away from the palace and everything and royal duties in order to save himself and his brother. His plan is to break Caleb out of prison. However, the Ivory Key, all of their paths, bring them back together in search of this Ivory Key. And there's a lot of tension there with the characters. They've all wronged each other in some way. They all talk about how close they used to be, but how since the death of, for Rhea before that, since the death of the queen, they've all become, rather strained with, pulled in different directions. But they're like pieces of a puzzle. And that reflects much of the story as well. So each of them has their own qualities that drive them. And sure, they're searching for this Ivory Key, right? In order to get this Ivory Key, they have to solve a number of puzzles and go through mazes. It's pretty intricate, and I want to talk about a little bit more about that later. If each one of them had done this on their own, they would have failed because they're not seeing the full picture. But together, their traits, their personalities, they balance each other out. They themselves are stronger together. Again, they are each a piece of the puzzle, and they are alone when, they're alone. I know that was redundant. But together, you as the reader see the bigger picture. And when they're together, they see the bigger picture as well. So when they're working together, even with the tension, even with the arguments, they are still better together. And I like that because it does reflect a lot of the characterization, a lot of the character growth. I really found it to be quite engaging, honestly. I did. I loved the characterization here. I thought there was incredible character growth, because they're starting to see not everything they thought they knew was right. Rhea thought her mother was withholding magic. No, it's not that she was withholding magic. It's the fact that the country is, the quarry of magic is emptying. There's not going to be any more magic. So, without telling the people to avoid a panic, not the smartest move, but it was the move her and her council voted for. They are rationing magic without telling people, yeah, we're rationing magic because we're running out. And then Caleb, he is the eldest. He's also their half-brother from their father's previous marriage too. It was just, not a marriage of love, a marriage of duty. He married a girl from the invaders' land, and she died, so he came back home, married his own true love, the Maharani. They had 3 kids. However, this has always put Caleb in a state of in-between. He's too much of this for them and too much of that for them. He's not he is very much a biracial child. You see those kids, and I'm going to use biracial children as an example, because unfortunately it is a fact. They are too African American for white people and too white for African American communities. So they're always forced to kind of choose a culture over one, and I don't think that that's fair. Both cultures are who they are. So for Caleb, he's always been forced to limit one in favor of the other, and now he's just like, I have to find who I am. So it's a really good character development for him. For Rhea, again, for Ronak, he's always thought Vera was just kind of ignoring him, ignoring the family, and he doesn't understand the precarious line that she walks. The court doesn't really want her, the council, they don't really want her to be queen. They just think she's too young. They don't think she has enough experience. They think they think a lot of things. And he's not understanding the state of things. Again, that's on Vera for not, talking, community, like, look, here's the deal. This is what's happening right now. So, all of the siblings kind of just keep their own secrets. But as the story evolves, as they're solving these puzzles, they are becoming a family again. They're communicating, they're growing, they're learning more about themselves, they're learning more about each other. They are coming together as 4 pieces of a puzzle, and I think that was really well done. Then you have the storytelling. The actual storytelling I thought was phenomenal. Once again, like I said, I want to talk about these puzzles. I think Rahman did an incredible job with these puzzles. They're so intricate, but they're so full of imagination. As I was reading them, I'm trying to solve them myself. Like, you've got a cipher here, you've got math problem here, you've got illusions and magics influencing the puzzle, you've got a pattern of tiles. It's like something out of Indiana Jones almost. You got to solve all these pieces, all these puzzles to get to the next level. And they were so intricately done. I absolutely loved it. And I loved how it reflected the siblings coming together, It reflected how they're learning to work together and trust one another in order to solve these puzzles. I just think, damn, that was so well done. That's like my initial thought, like, wow, those puzzles in the book are, I love puzzles. I'm a person who loves puzzles. I love solving puzzles. I just thought that they were absolutely 100% incredible. I thought they were so well done. I can't stress that enough. They are imaginative. They really do suck the reader in, and they do reflect the growth of the story. They reflect the narrative. And I love it when they work in tandem. So this is a story that is not just character driven, but it is plot driven. I love stories that are driven by both. I love stories driven by characters. I like engaging stories. I like stories full of imagination. And the Ivory Key was definitely a story full of imagination. It had excellent characterization, excellent plot development. It was unpredictable. Except for that one little bit with that one character who I don't want to name because I don't want to give out any spoilers. I was like, but it's subtle though. You have to be really paying attention. I think Ramon just kind of dropped it in there, like, I'm just going to drop in this little hint. You could easily gloss over it, and I think I did. I think I was like, wait a second, and then I reread it, and I was like, wait a second, and I was like, damn, I hope that it's not right. And I was only partially right, too. Partially. So, it's a really good story. Definitely highly recommend. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 stars. This is The Ivory Key by Akshaya Raman. Very imaginative, very compelling, very engaging. From beginning to end and going between all 4 perspectives really does give the reader a chance to attach themselves to every single character and see how they work alone and in tandem. So, if you want to purchase the book, I just ask that you purchase the book from your local bookseller or online book retailer. If you go on bookshop.org, they can give you a list of independently owned bookstores nearest to you. I know that there might not be a Barnes & Noble near you or a Books A Million near you, but you can still sign up for a membership to both of those bookstores on their respective websites and get the discounts from the websites. Please just support your booksellers and, local bookstores. I just ask that you get the books from them versus getting them off of Amazon. If money's tight, your local library. I know I get customers at the bookstore all day. It's cheaper on Amazon. Right, yeah, it's cheaper on Amazon. Because, Amazon doesn't really pay taxes. And a lot of their warehouses, have lots of human rights violations. So it's just something to just be aware of when you're talking about Amazon. And their prices do tend to undercut the authors. The publisher is still making the profit somewhat, but because they're getting books at a discount rate to Amazon, the authors themselves are being undercut with their profit. So it's a whole thing. So I just ask that you support your bookstores, and if money's tight, support your local library. And on that note, I hope you all will continue to support me here by liking this podcast, sharing it with all your book loving friends, and subscribing. You can also become a supporter on Anchor FM, my recording platform, or on Buy Me a Coffee for $1 a month, or one-time donation, or 99 cents a month. Honestly, just sharing the podcast is kind of like the best thing ever for me. So if you listen, if you share, that's it. That's all I need. I don't need anything else. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and as always, happy reading.